Broadcasting live from upstate New York, a technology talk show that puts you and your questions first. It's Tech Talk Live.
Yeah, baby, it's Tech Talk Live, coming to you live from upstate New York. I'm Flipper.
And I'm JJ.
And we're a computer talk show. Call-in talk show. You can call in, give us, harass us. I don't care.
Give us a jingle. 315-220-0692.
Or you can give us an email at techtalkliveny@gmail.com.
Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/techtalklive.
Or check us out at our website at ttlny.com.
Good morning.
Finger legs.
Man, what a beautiful morning it is.
It is. Oh, my God. Can you believe it?
Like 82 degrees under partly cloudy skies.
Why aren't you doing the weather?
I should do the weather.
You should.
I should.
And over here we have a nor'easter. I can just see that now. Get you on a green screen and be like, hey,
oh my God, that'd be cool.
Wouldn't it?
Right?
Well, we could do that if you really like.
We can.
Yes.
We should try a new segment.
A new segment, right? Actually, we were talking about
green screen technology.
Well, remember that one week we were trying to talk about, I got the one camera, I got the G12 that does video.
Right.
And what we would do is we would put, you or me or both in front of a green screen, and then we would record the segment, and then we could put ourselves at the info desk.
Oh.
So, right. And then we could do something, a segment like that and just be like, I don't know, read some headlines or talk about different headlines and be like, this is your Tech Talk Live minute.
Ooh, there you go.
Or, well, we're already doing something like that, but just, come up with something,
Right.
And then we could do the green screen. You could be pointing at things, be like, oh, over here, there's...
Right.
Over here.
You could do the old, the Finger Lakes Most Wanted.
There you go.
Here's a picture of this guy and a picture of that guy.
What do they do, JJ? That's kind of funny. That would be a fun segment, I think, to record.
And then they could just run it,
whatever,
throughout the day or something.
Yeah.
So we could click on it. Ooh, ideas.
That is ideas. Wow. I was just thinking, what was that thing? Oh, the polygamy guy? Did you?
Oh, yeah. Where is it? Listen, right here. Bigamy charged for interlinking men after...
Okay, hang on a second. Before we get into the actual article, I was just thinking, technologically, this thing went out, okay, one time from, I think it was the Seneca County Sheriff's, wasn't it?
It was.
So they blast faxed it or blast emailed it.
Right.
And within seconds, I had it 12 times on my Facebook.
Nice.
I mean, you want to talk about being hyper connected.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. People were like sharing it, going, oh, hey, what's up with this? What do you mean polygamy? I mean, there's no such thing as polygamy in Seneca County. It's only sheep that we have to worry about.
Bigamy, not polygamy.
Oh, what? Bigamy. Whatever. What did I say? Polygamy? Mm-hmm. Is that like bulimia?
No.
Okay.
I think bulimia is an illness.
I think it is. Well, I think a lot of...
It's a Class E felony.
I'm an illity. Really?
That's what it says here.
Okay, well, go ahead and read the article, and then we'll talk about the technology behind it.
Technology. Fridays, sheriff's investigators, with the assistance of the state police and PCI, arrested James Actor, 38 of State Route 89 in Interlaken, for marrying a woman in Canandaigua while already being married. He was charged with bigamy, a Class E felony.
I didn't know it was a felony. Oh.
Offering a false instrument for filing in the first degree is a Class E felony. And unlawfully procuring a marriage license, a Class A misdemeanor. This guy's screwed. More ways than one.
I think Facebook said that,
Right?
I'm telling you, really. Now, something like that. Now, think about how small we are, okay, in this area.
Little Dinky County. Why would you do it here?
Right. Well, 33,000 people live here in Seneca County. You have, we're bordered with Cayuga,
right?
Ontario. To the north, we got Wayne. To the south, we have Schuyler and Tompkins. Schuyler and Tompkins both are a little smaller than we are. And then Wayne's about the same size, maybe just a touch smaller. Then you got Ontario, which is a ton bigger. And then you've got Cayuga, which is about the same as well.
Nice.
So, really, it's all kind of the same populace.
Well, I think he tried to get away with it because he says here the charges stem from Actor securing a marriage license at the City of Canandaigua clerk's office.
And then come down here to get married.
Being married on the 4th of May in the town of Varick while being married to another woman.
That is nuts. And just how fast the news got out about that.
Right.
You know,
So technology, how does that work? What, is it just email blaster or what?
I believe it's just an email blast because most of the news feeds now have what they call like a news desk email thing.
Okay.
And I know, like, if we want to do press releases here at Tech Talk, one of the things that they've given me is a guideline that says put in the subject press release, and then in the message you put an HTML message that is fairly formatted to whatever you want it to look like, and it automatically the program automatically picks up that email, reformats it, puts it in their database, then publishes it on their website. So within seconds, no human involvement at all. Blast, boom, it's gone. Right?
Gone. It's out to the news, it's out to Facebook,
It could be out
Twitter,
to however many people. It doesn't matter, you know?
whatever you have a link to.
Right.
Wow.
So, well, like the Obama administration has something like 4,000 entries that they send any type of press releases to.
Nice.
So, I mean, just imagine, click and it's gone, you know?
I love technology.
Yeah. And it's all automated. It doesn't have to be touched by humans. It literally can just come into a mailbox, then the news feed looks at the mailbox once every 30 seconds. Oh, we got a new article. Format it and put it up on your website.
I gotta love that because you could use that. I think there's some technology coming out there for public safety use as well as, you know, public safety alerts and weather, or which is up and coming. I do believe Seneca Falls has hopped on board on one of those new technologies. I can't remember what the name of it's called right offhand.
Well, there's the oh shoot,
It's like a email.
You know, I had it, and then I looked right at you. I lost it. It's actually a website. It's a management website that allows you to do blast emails. So like automatic weather alerts. You can sign up for alerts from whatever.
Right.
Kind of like the Vine system, victim information notification, whatever the E stands for.
Right.
But anyway, you know, all these systems are slowly becoming more and more automated, and you know, your e-government and your e-communications are becoming more and more prevalent in these types of scenarios. So if you want to know everything going on at Seneca Falls PD, you know, you sign up for their blast email, and then whenever something goes out that's public knowledge, you know, that can be public knowledge, and they post it on that, it immediately does a blog post, emails everybody that's subscribed to it, and puts it out to the media.
Yeah, it's Nixie, looks like it's called. Nixie.
Nixie's one of them.
Nixie.com is what Seneca Falls has hopped on board with.
Yeah, Nixie's one of them. I forget what the other one was called.
Messages may include numerous emergency alerts, as well as other relevant safety and community event information. So,
interesting.
and I do believe you have to sign up in order to get the alerts.
Well, of course, you know. But, you know, just imagine if they get it to where it's also social media connected. Then if you just like their page, then you automatically get the alerts, you know, on Facebook.
Right. Back to the next generation issue.
Well, you know, I still have a hard time with that next generation thought process, because really think about it. Okay, not everybody's going to be able to get on Facebook all day long throughout the day. Not everybody has a smartphone. Not everybody has an employer that'll allow them to go to Facebook.
This is true.
So that next generation thought process, I think, is going to be hindered in those regards for a certain amount of the populace, per se, versus the other part of the populace who's hyper connected. They live on Facebook. They live on their smartphone. They live on their laptop. You know, that would be a benefit to those people. The question comes down to what really is the proportion, and how valuable is it over here versus over here? I don't know. I've never looked up those statistics.
Might be something interesting that Seneca County may want to look into, because I think it's an up and coming thing, really.
Yeah, well, it's going to have to be looked into at some point. Question comes into when.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Seneca County statistically, you know, as in Seneca County has a high population that would be hyper connected. You know, I mean, it's hard to tell. You know, I mean, the north part of the county is mostly urban area.
Right.
South part of the county is kind of more farmers and, you know, livestock,
Agricultural,
yeah, forestry. So, you know, how many of those are really connected? I mean,
those are the harder people to reach out to in case, you know, there's an emergency too. So
nothing beats picking up the phone. I don't care who it is. That trumps everything. Pick up the phone.
And they have those automatic dialers that will shoot out mass callings.
Oh, I wasn't talking about the alerts. I was talking about just at any time, second generation. I mean, okay, if it ain't working,
It ain't working.
pick up the phone. It's common sense, right?
Right?
Okay. I thought you were going to say no. That way we could have an argument.
Okay. No.
What are you talking about? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Really, honestly.
I don't know what we got.
I've got a couple different things. I got, of course, we got Around the Tech and JJ's free app coming up. We got some Facebook bug.
A Facebook bug.
A Facebook bug, and Amazon adds comic books, and some of the best security suites of 2013.
Nice.
So you tell me what you want to play with, or whatever you got.
I want to hear about the Facebook bug.
Facebook bug. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the Facebook bug. Facebook on Friday revealed that a bug inadvertently exposed the contact information of 6 million users via the social media networks Download Your Information tool, the DYI tool. Evidently, there was a bug in it or a glitch. It has been fixed since, but people did lose their contact information. About 6 million users.
Ooh.
Most of those users have been notified that their information may have been compromised. Make sure to go change your password, but still, they already got your username or a username, password, private information such as your address, your phone numbers, your verified phone number, your website addresses. If you have any family listed or high school listed, nicknames, any of that stuff. So whoever got this information might have a real easy time becoming you. So identity theft from this is very possible. So it's really, really kind of scary, really, in a sense that, just because of this one little bug in this DYI tool, Download Your Information tool, allowed these people to download all this contact information. You could be getting spam, you could be getting mail spam, you could be getting, somebody could be stealing your identity, opening credit cards as you.
Hopefully it's just somebody being, haha, I got into your system.
I hope so. So
you are not as, you're vulnerable. What's the terminology I'm
vulnerable?
about? More vulnerable than you thought you were or something,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the problem with security anyway. I mean, by the end of the day, what is security? People strive. This is where I think the general populace really gets confused. We strive for 100% security. Mm-hmm. It's not obtainable. It's never obtainable.
Never will be.
Okay, because something can always go wrong. Okay, I mean, I don't care where you are. I don't care whether you're in Fort Knox or Google's data center. Something can always go wrong. Okay, so could you be 99.9% sure that you're secure? Yeah, sure. So you get a nice sense of safety. Okay, but you're never going to hit 100%. And I think that's where the populace really needs to, just people in general, really need to stop and think and go, well, okay, so I can't really be this heavy hitter and going, oh, we need to be more secure. We need to be more secure, because that's where we've gotten. I think that's really the mentality that's pushed the NSA to where the levels that it is now. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the NSA, there's a stop your privacy or stop spying.us, or I think is what it is. It's right on Google's page. Go right to google.com, right down to the bottom. There's an activist page that is now going against the NSA and the federal government, that's saying that we need to spy on everybody because anybody can be a threat.
Right.
With the CISPA stuff and everything else. And
is that in light because of the Verizon issue there with the cell phones?
Mostly.
Yeah. Well, I heard that guy got indicted, I heard.
Yes.
So, shame on him.
Right.
So, long time in prison.
Well, he was indicted the Verizon dude was indicted because he spoke against the government, right? Right. I mean, you signed
yeah, he spoke against the government and let them know what everybody was, doing out there.
Right. He was actually part of the agency at one time.
Kind of an espionage type kind of thing.
Right. And now he was out. Now he wants everybody to know. Thank you. Because I mean, without that happening, nobody would really. I knew. I don't know about anybody else. I knew. I could understand it. I could look at it and go, you know what? We're definitely, there is no such thing as privacy.
No.
I think that's what people are trying to figure out how to get back is how do you get privacy back? How would you get privacy back? I mean, look at the Facebook thing. You know,
Stop using Facebook, stop using Twitter, stop using cell phones, stop using...
even that you're really not private because you got right down here you got a little stoplight cam over there. You got a building cam for that business.
There's a lot of that out there.
Right.
People don't know of.
You're really being watched 24/7. You got a cell phone, you're being tracked 24/7 because it's just like somebody was like, well, what's the difference of I'll take a cell phone before I ever get an RFID chip planted in my body. Okay. I said, what's the difference? You carry your cell phone everywhere you go.
Right. GPS.
Right. It's just like having a chip on you.
Right, pretty much.
The only difference is that you can throw the phone, I suppose. You know.
You have to...
By the end of the day, you're doing the RFID chip anyway, just because you've got a phone and it's got GPS.
You'd have to throw a quarter in a payphone and make some phone calls.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Do they even have payphones anymore?
Actually, no. The United States
I don't think I've seen one in years.
Well, because of the lack of using them,
Right.
most areas have decreased their payphone centers by almost 95%. So it's hard pressed to find a actual payphone anywhere.
I love it.
Rural areas, you'll find it. Up here in urban areas, not so much. Because, think about it. Why do I need a payphone? If I really needed help, I can just look at somebody and go, I need help. And they can go, okay, and they got the phone. Right. It's not, we're hyper connected. Yeah, we're hyper connected. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay.
All right. But, you know, I think that's one of the things that really scares the crap out of people is the concept that now we're finally realizing that we've given up our privacy. We've given up our confidentiality of our own stuff to a federal government, you know, to an agency. I'm a firm believer we need tools to catch the bad guys.
Correct.
Don't get me wrong, but those tools can't overstep their bounds.
So they need a little
tweaking
and what do you want to say, an overview committee?
Well, the NSA
over
right now,
what they do.
The NSA right now only has to go to they just have to go get a court order if they need it. In any situation, just has to go get approval to go use these tools. And every single phone call and every single conversation is now going to be recorded in a main data center for the NSA. Now, granted, no human's going to see it.
No.
But it's recorded. It's someplace. It's available.
Everything you do.
So what you say is still there. It's not like you can sit there and go...
What you say and what you show.
Right. I mean, it's
out there, right?
Yeah, that looks good. Here, honey, look at this.
You record it in the database.
Right.
For future use. It's like putting it on ice, you know?
You know, and I'm not gonna sit here and go, you know, it's all Obama's fault or all Obama administration fault or Bush's fault for starting the whole thing with the NSA. You know, I just don't believe in putting fault on something that is just the natural progression of where we're at. You know,
right?
We're trying to find our teeth and trying to get to these bad guys. That's really what it is. You know, now the question comes down to is what are we as people willing to give up in order to have those tools? Are we willing to give up our privacy and our confidentiality under no certain terms in order to catch that 1%?
Yeah,
or that 0.5%, whatever.
But we're giving up. We don't even know it because, I mean, modern conveniences.
Right.
I want a modern convenience of being connected to the internet via cell phone.
Hyper-connected, yeah.
Hyper-connection.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
I want to be connected all the time. I can't take it frazzled.
Right. So I'm willing to give up a little bit of that privacy and because I want the convenience, the technology. In the know. A
good friend of ours this week happened to tell me about never disconnecting from work. And I agreed wholeheartedly with him.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, I don't think many people can disconnect fully from work anymore because, you know, work has your email, work has your cell phone number, work has your home number, work has your smartphone Facebook page. You know, I think it's very difficult to fully disconnect for anybody period. Unless you're just not in a position of needing that hyperconnectivity, and I think that's really the really strange
And
thing.
if the work's not connected to you, they know somebody who is connected to you. So
Right. Well, yeah, 7 steps to Kevin Bacon, right?
right, pretty much.
Yeah, so I think me and Kevin are related via a movie I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which one's
Footloose.
that? Footloose. Everybody cut loose.
Footloose.
Kick off the Sunday shoes. Anyway, give us a call, 315-220-0692.
And that's JJ.
And that's Flipper.
And we're a computer talk show. We talk about anything you really want to talk about, but we like to talk about technology. And we like to talk about things that are related to technology, whether it's politics or not politics or whatever, but it has to be related to technology.
We have to relate it back.
Right. So
give us a shout out.
Give us a shout out if there's something you want to hear or you want to read about or you want to go. But anyway, Facebook.
You still have that the Siri Windows commercial uploaded?
I got it someplace. I don't know if I can play it. Let me see if it's
I was just wondering because it was cute.
No, it's not here. Let me see if I can. I'll load it real quick. Hang on. Everybody bear with the blank screen here.
Uh-oh.
I just gotta find it real quick. Let's see.
I always get a laugh of it.
It is a funny one.
Now I'm seeing it more often on TV and like, there we go.
Sorry, I don't update like that. I'm sorry, I can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, Siri.
I guess PowerPoint isn't one of those things.
I love the voice.
Should we just play chopsticks?
It's just about time that freaking PC comes out of nowhere and starts doing these. These are great. There was 2 other ones out there too.
I love that commercial.
Did you see the other?
And I'm an iPad kind of guy, but
yeah, it's funny.
It's like funny commercial.
Yeah,
got in a minute.
I love it when it sits there and goes, "Well, PowerPoint ain't one of them."
Exactly.
You want to play chopsticks?
ding 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 ding.
You ready to do JJ's free app
Already?
Well, I don't know.
Usually we save it for the second half of the show.
Okay. Well, I don't care. I was just kind of moving things along, I guess.
Usually we do like 3 minutes before we take a break, and
all right. Well, then I can do something quick. I got this another article here that's pretty impressive. Amazon to add comic books. So all you comic books and sci-fi fans out there,
awesome.
Amazon is to add comic book sci-fi stories to the Kindle's fan fiction platform.
That would be awesome.
It is awesome. Have a fanfic storyline about well, I can't pronounce all these words because I'm not sure how you pronounce them in the Shadowrun world, but okay, whatever. Basically, it's to do comic book publishing and fan fiction publishing. So, like saying if you are a wannabe author,
right?
Did I say what did I say? Right, author.
Author, yes, correct.
Not artist. Well, it's still an artist, but the point is if you're a fan fiction writer, okay, you can get your stuff published on Amazon, and if people like it and download it, you can make money with it.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Now, if I was only a writer. So, Peter, wherever you are, if you're watching the show, I know you can write. Right. And I'm sure you could write some pretty darn good Star Trek stories.
Hey.
That'd
be pretty cool.
And then if he makes money with it, heck, then when he becomes rich and famous, maybe he'll remember me.
Right. Well, you could do the design. He could do the writing.
Right? There you go. Yeah, I could do the photography and stuff. That'd be fun.
That would be cool.
It would be.
I got to find out what that app is, because there's an app that now crowdsources locations of every surveillance camera.
Oh, you're talking about I Spy with My Little Eye, I think is one of them.
Yeah, I got to find it. It's a new one out there.
But there's another one. I just saw it on, I think it was PC Mag or Maker Magazine. But it literally takes and gives you like a Google Map-esque of all the traffic cams that it knows about.
Let me see here. Let's see if I can find it. You're always being watched, and a new app lets you know. SURV. Was it Serve? Serve combines user input and technology to create maps with detailed descriptions of locations and types of surveillance cameras.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see here. Kezar Razat and Khalad Millis Developed the app after realizing how little access to this information law enforcement agencies have. Formerly game developer.
Whoa. Stop for 1 second. Rewind about a half a second. Okay, now it was created for what purpose? Because
They developed an app after realizing how little access to this information that law enforcement agencies have.
so not the general public. It was more for law enforcement agencies.
But it's gone public.
Well, now it's gone public, yeah. So the original intent was just for law enforcement. Now it's public and everybody can see
Yeah,
it.
this is an article that I found under Mashable, actually.
Which is actually kind of neat because, you
just
probably
lost
want Sorry, Siri, we lost that.
Yeah, Siri. Can you do that again? No, chicken.
I don't even know what to say that.
Right?
I'm feeling all right. But anyway, so I mean, it's gone public, so now the public can see where all the traffic cams are as well as the law
I
enforcement.
think it's up to more than just traffic cams. I think it's...
It's probably speed traps, probably...
Why does it keep scanning down on me?
I don't know. You're the iOS guy.
I know. I'm like scrolling up and it scrolls right down. I must be like hitting another article or something real quick.
Maybe.
Let's hear. They are former developers of game developers. The utility app that actually provided information they saw spy games, and movies. Their gaming experience informed competitiveness in Servu. Yep. With leaderboard and new features unlocked by contributing, they hoped by expanding slowly through a Kickstarter campaign.
Yep.
But they are currently focused on creating a group of slightly exclusive users. So I bet you it's...
Law enforcement.
Yeah.
Or certain law enforcement.
Anyway, I'm going to have to try to check that out, see if it's out there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of interesting because, I mean, I believe in transparency. I've always thought transparency for the government needs to happen. I mean, the problem, though, I think that we're experiencing right now, no matter what transparency we have, we always have something else that we look at and go, well, they're not telling us this, or they're not telling us that. Mm-hmm. So I think like apps like that would be an excellent public relations tool. I know it sounds kind of like a backwards thought process while you're trying to catch speeders, but what happens to speeders when they know that there's a traffic cam there?
Right.
They're not going to run the red light. They're not going to, speed through that area. They're not going to. Why? Because they know it's there.
Well, looking at they showed a brief display on their article here, and it shows each area, each city, like New York, has couple different boroughs, of course. So they're saying New York, this one has 272 that they're aware of. Mm-hmm. And this New York borough has 150. Mm-hmm. They're actually breaking it all down to, the post office has one, the NYPD security rig has one, building 210 galleries has one. There's one on the corner of 27th and 11th Street.
I just thought of something that might be bad.
They're publishing like all the ATM cams, and each business that has a cam that's pointing outside, along with the traffic cams.
That might be bad. I don't know. I'm rethinking it. I might reevaluate my answer to this because, really thinking about it. I mean, if you know where all the cams are and you want to do a bank robbery, I'm gonna go big. Bigger, stay home.
Right. Make sure it's well worth it.
Right. Well, if I know where all the cams are between here and there, I can either avoid them or disable them on my way.
Right.
Right. Go do the bank robbery. Right. As law enforcement responds, since I know where the cams are, if I can figure out how to tap into those cams, I mean, it's just maybe it's providing too much information. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Maybe that's why they're just looking for select group.
Yeah.
Making it available to.
I don't know. That might be a little bit too much. What is the name of the site we're talking about from K?
From K? Which site?
Serve. It's SURV, right? Serve.
They're calling the app SURV. Yep.
Okay.
SURV combined.
Serve. It's an whoops, let me type
The app is available on iOS in a closed beta version and is only based in New York City, actually. Now, further down in the article I read, I'm not sure if...
iOS startup.
What do you think about the app and its benefits? Is there any?
I don't know. There probably is benefits to it, but I don't know for who, though. The general public, I think it just gives us a sense of transparency. You know,
Other than just letting you know, it'd be kind of cool if there was a way to link into it and say, "Hey, look at me, I'm on camera." Hi. But
I suppose it would be, but
But,
then now how would those businesses be able to secure their security cams? You know, how would you guarantee that, you know, somebody doesn't get in there and disable cameras?
Right.
You know, I think that's really the bigger question is how do you maintain security even though you got the cams?
Make sure your cameras aren't connected to your Wi-Fi.
Right. Wow, that's tough. That's a tough call. I'm glad I'm not the one making that choice.
Right.
I don't know. How would you determine who has access to what? I suppose eventually it'll get there, but
Right. Anyway,
wow, I think I got to reevaluate my answer to that. I don't know if it would be from a social standpoint for society. You know,
Kinda neat.
as negative as we are right now towards any type of government surveillance, you know, Second Amendment violation, take our freedoms away, liberty, blah blah blah. We have all that negativity there.
right.
Would something like this being offered up as transparency, would that help curb that and open the door for a little bit nicer or a little bit more sensible? I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Maybe not sensible, but maybe just ease up the tension a touch because it's transparent. But then at the same time, now you're opening the door for security problems because now everybody knows where all the cams are, or as many as that they mapped.
Right.
You're going to know if you can tie into them somehow. Ooh, you know, now you have access to the cam. Okay, so, you know, members of Anonymous all of a sudden says, okay, we're going to disable this cam, this cam, this cam, go plant. Well, I don't think, well, Anonymous probably wouldn't plant a bomb, but you know, saying if some other group wanted to plant the bomb and Anonymous helped them get the
Right.
cameras down or something like that, you know, I could see something happening, some type of combination attack. It would be a cyber/reality attack. It would be like somebody does cyber stuff to get the distraction going. Somebody else does the actual physical planning of the bomb
Right.
and doing it
It's
all.
going to take an awful lot of legwork to do that, but
But
eventually, there's somebody out there willing to do it.
I was
going
gonna say, yeah, there's quite a few out there willing to do it. Considering that, look at some of the stuff that they've already done. I mean, you know, some of these different groups. have done.
Oh, look, you've seen in the movie.
I'm still waiting for somebody to take that Westboro church place and just like do like the holy hand grenade thought process. Sit there and go, okay, random timer, toss it in and walk away. I mean, I'm just surprised that just hasn't happened yet. Just because the way that they operate their
They
church.
present themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, new AOL is coming up with a new reader to fill that gap from Google, I do believe. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah, I did. I think it's in my.
Well, the lack of
around
the
tech.
lack of RSS.
Yes, AOL Reader launches in beta ahead of Google RSS shutdown. Now in beta, web users with an AOL, Facebook, Google, or Twitter account can access to the AOL Reader. The AOL Reader, really, all it is just a feeder, which is there's a million feeders out there.
Matter of fact, there's an app called Feeder.
Right. But the question comes down to is what interface is AOL going to give you? Is it going to be pretty? Is it going to be nice? Is it going to be like a magazine? You flip through the articles. You know, what is it really going to look like? You know, that's the question.
Right.
And is it going to be user-friendly? Is it not going to be user-friendly? I've reviewed probably 20 different readers in my time trying to find a reader that I really enjoy. So far, the only one that really upholds my expectations, and now that with this last update, I don't like it anymore, was Google Currents. Because it was literally like you flip the screen this way to go to the next magazine. So I go from Make to PC Mag to...
Right? Just like you're reading a magazine.
Right. And then once I'm in there, then you just scroll down through the page and it's laid out in tiles, just like a magazine article would be. And then you click on the article when you want to read the whole thing. The other problem with RSS, which has always been the problem in a business sense. Now we talk about the business world. from a business standpoint, who, saying PC Mag, they're a content generator. Do they
Right.
want to give away for free their
Probably not.
RSS content? Probably not.
No.
But they do. So they do. But I mean, from a business standpoint, if everybody signs up for RSS content, there's never a way to feed them advertisement or a way to collect fees for reading that content. So how do you pay somebody to do it?
Right. I don't know. 99 cents.
Well, I'm just saying, how would you do it? How would you get there? I mean, because RSS feed is just an XML file that sits out on the internet, you generate it, and here's your news articles from your feed. It's like how we do our show, the shows.
Right.
When Apple iTunes, speaking of iTunes, there was something about iTunes too, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh.
I remembered it, but just
Invented-
remember
right.
iTunes business about downloading, and I'll remember that. But really, this content creation thought process where we talk about magazines and newspapers and stuff giving you content for free on a website, and they're like reluctant to because they want the print magazine to sell. These readers are really, I don't know, they're great. I love them, but at the same time, I can see how they're against business or against, it really makes it tough for business, I suppose.
Yeah, they're going to lose lots of profits.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that businesses can't make profit, okay? The question always comes down in my mind is, where is that absurdness idea? If PC Magazine was making $1.5 billion a year on a subscription base that was really not supportive of that somehow, and then, because they're charging $5 an article or whatever, whatever unreasonable thought process is. I think that's where it becomes my thought process. I'm not against businesses making money and surviving. I don't care for the. Well, it's like the oil companies. Think about it. It scares the heck out of you.
Making money left over.
What is it like? I think it's like
right.
10,000% profit or something was the last
it's
figure
crazy.
that I saw. 10,000% profit. Where is the absurd line?
Right.
Show me it. I want to know where the absurd line is on that. I think it stopped back at.
$1 per gallon. They're charging $4 a gallon or whatever.
Well, like I said, what's the
Like it
absurd
is.
line on that? I understand it takes a lot to get it from, crude oil to gas to the pump to in my car to burning it to, but.
Going back to the pump and buy more.
Right.
Right.
But still, I mean, where's the absurd line on that?
Right.
And I think that's the same concept with this. I think we're seeing the absurd line for magazines really isn't a profit margin absurd line. It's the opposite way. Everybody wants everything for nothing. We want our information for nothing, I mean, look what we do. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't contribute, our opinion to these different articles. But, I wouldn't, we go out, we read these different magazines and kind of get a sense of what's going on out there and go, I think that's interesting. I'll go research it more.
Right.
And
let our fan base know on Tech Talk Live.
Right.
Right.
And so really by the end of the day, how's that any different? I mean, I'm more than willing to, I have a subscription to PC Mag. So,
Right.
I like Maker magazine too. I'd love to promote those. I should probably promote those on here. So, but really by the end of the day, I don't need the subscription to go get this information. It's there.
Right. Why not get it for free?
So it's kind of the absurd mark. It's like the absurd low water mark, Not saying that, we shouldn't have some things for free, but geez, I mean, I can see how it's hurting their business, and it's very unfair and very, very wrong. But I mean, how do you change the business model on that? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, we're at 11:40. What do you want to do?
You want to do around let's see here. Let's do the free app, I guess.
You ready to do the free app?
Let me see if it fired up. Oh, it did fire up. Let's do it.
You ready?
Hit it.
Ha! Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
Now it's time for JJ's free app of the week.
Yeah, baby. Free app of the week brought to you today by the Apple Store. App of the week today is VJ. An awesome app. I think it's like $4.99 in the Apple Store.
Normally, right?
Normally, it's free this week.
free this week from Apple.
Right. It is. Let's see here. VJ transforms your iPad into a cutting-edge mashup machine, directly integrating with the media libraries on your iPad. Mix up and scratch your favorite music videos from iTunes or combine songs from your music library with a personal video footage into an interactive audio-visual experience. You can even use a built-in camera and on your device to add your own clips and mix and add special effects. The first of its kind on iPad, VJ lets you create fun video mashups, display directly to a TV, or record your own performances live and share them instantly on Facebook or YouTube. Media access, real-time video transitions, live movie recording, instant Facebook and YouTube sharing, support and external displays.
It is literally an entire video mashup publishing system.
Built-in camera integration with iTunes stores, browse, search, preview, purchase music videos and iTunes from within the app, actually.
Right?
So,
wow, that is nuts.
It requires an iPad 2 or later running iOS 5 or higher enhanced with the new iPad. So,
that is one of the things that really upsets me about like iOS and the iTunes store, and
you just have to be up to date on your iOS.
Well, no. My point was they get some of the coolest apps.
Oh my God, this one was like awesome. I've used this one before.
Have you?
This is fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun app.
Well, I mean,
and I think it's $9.99 for the iPad. So.
I go looking on the Google store, because I got an Android, and I try to find some of these apps just to play with and stuff. I gotta say, I'm really not into the whole I'm an app guy, because I'm not.
Right.
I more or less got Angry Birds and Bad Piggies. I love Bad Piggies.
Right.
My little piggy, your little piggy.
And I've got DJ as well.
Right. So you can do the MP3 stuff as well as the video stuff now.
Right.
Nice.
And I could pretend I'm, performing
I can't even imagine.
like a disc jockey. He's got two wheels, like a round table, like the round tables for records.
We're going to have to set you up with a projector. Oh my God. I'll have to tell that to this one person. We'll have to take and get one of those portable projectors that hook to the iPad.
We just have to get a little camera over my shoulder pointing down on it. We could just.
Well, no. We'll project it up on screen.
Oh my God!
And then your webcam would project with it, and then we could put you down to like FNA's Rhythm and Booze, or one of the local bars, and sit there and be like, you could be a DJ for the night.
You could do your own. You could do your own disc jockey music with that app.
Yeah.
And iTunes the cloud, Apple's cloud, allows you to save your music out to the cloud. So
your mix, once you're done with your mix, you save it out to the cloud.
Right? And then you go to your performance, hook up the little connection to the iPad, right?
Yep.
To their sound system,
and then just let it go.
As long as you got Wi-Fi, and let it go. You could just sit there and pretend to be a DJ, pull your music off the cloud. You can sit there all night and just push a button. Okay,
Wow,
what an easy gig!
What an easy gig is right.
Think of the money you could make. $250.
Well, couple that with one of the Bose sound systems. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah,
they're $1,000. Okay, they're a PA system, and it's just a long pole with a subwoofer in the bottom.
Right.
I think it's 1,000 watts. That's it. Okay. You literally hook in a mixing board or a mic system, and then on the other port you hook in your laptop or iPad. You could literally sit there, be walking around, just being like on stage and doing.
And if I'm not mistaken, you could control it from your iPhone too, and you can connect to the iPad.
Get out of here!
And you could just walk around. You push a button, and you're playing the music. Right. All you have to do is of course there would be fees included, for purchasing the music, but I mean, down the road you could make some easy money, really.
Wow. I wish I could do some beatbox. I would do it right now because it would be very fitting for that, but I can't.
It'd be really easy.
Yeah. That is nuts.
And you just sit there and you can have it on mix. There's a mixer board. You just push it on the mixer board and it flips back and forth.
I gotta go shoot a wedding today. I'll have to ask Kenny Paradise because he's doing the. If you never heard of Kenny Paradise, go out to Facebook, find Kenny Paradise Entertainment. Or Ken Paradise Entertainment,
right?
Or Paradise Entertainment. How does he go by it?
Paradise Entertainment.
Paradise Entertainment. Okay.
DJ Ken.
You're right. Yeah, right. Everybody shouts that too. He walks out, DJ Ken, how you doing? But he's doing the wedding that I'm going to today that I'm shooting.
Nice.
So it should be a interesting day, to say the least. I should ask him about that VJ thing, see if he's doing any of that.
Well, he does. He's got his on a regular
Turntable. Well, it's a digital turntable.
right.
Yeah.
This is kind of a digital turntable as well, though, for an app. But
It's an app turntable. That's actually electronic micro switches on turntables. So
you can get to the fake boards
controllers.
for iPad. Yeah,
Yep, you can get
just put your
controllers.
iPad and connect it right to it.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you.
All right.
What do you want to do? Round the tech in 60 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, here we go.
See how bad I can do this. Now time for Round the Tech in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
Ready to go. The countdown's on. And here we go.
AOL Reader launches in beta ahead of Google RSS. AOL is going to try to provide the next RSS feeder that's going to be popular. Report: Microsoft considered ditching plan for Amazon rival. If things had gone a little differently, Amazon and eBay might not have been the only places on the web to find things like ironic party napkins.
Okay.
Okay. Report: New York City's Taxi of Tomorrow gets a go-ahead. The Taxi and Limousine Commission on Thursday approved an amended set of rules in the effort to move along its Taxi of Tomorrow program. Mozilla eyes blacklist for Firefox cookie management. Mozilla now allows you to allow cookies or disallow cookies based on site or content. Tesla shows off the 90-second battery swap, the Tesla
my God.
car.
I saw that.
Can you believe that? Basically, you run out of juice, put in a new battery. Tunes users buying about $12 worth of music each year. iTunes users only are buying about $12 of music per year. iTunes is going downhill.
Nice.
So that's what I was going to talk about. Okay, so...
Did you do it?
What?
Did you read your entire article in 60 seconds?
Yeah, all the headlines.
Oh, that's awesome. Usually you have one or two left.
I know.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you for the
first time Tech Talk Live.
Where's the balloons? Where's the balloons?
Right? The confetti.
Right. So I think that was the other thing that I wouldn't mind talking about a little bit about is the iTunes users buying about $12 worth of iTunes. By the statistics, based on the data from a recent Asimico, I can't pronounce that, report, retail heavyweight iTunes is losing ground in the music revenue race. It used to be about $40, $45 per user. Now it's down to about $12. I think probably the other problem here is the hyperconnectivity here. You can get apps that give you radio on your phone. You know, so
Correct.
you
So
don't have
why buy it when you can get it for
free, right?
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Pandora.
What's that one that we're on? Stitcher.
Stitcher. Yep.
Stitcher. Yep. Why? Even iTunes itself is contributing to that problem because you can get iTunes radio.
Correct.
So it just gives you random selections from iTunes. So
I forgot where I was going to go.
I don't know. But, really, I mean, will iTunes survive and be around in the next 10 years? I don't know. Maybe.
You got a lot of programs out there that allow you just, like YouTube downloader.
That doesn't work anymore for a lot of things.
No.
You got to get an update, I think. But,
there was you could convert.
Right. Well, even if you don't want
videos into audio.
Here's the other thing. Here's how stupid this is. It's just like remember the old idea about having tapes?
Right.
And you'd play the radio and then, record to tape.
Play and record at the same time?
Yeah. Or not even play and record, but I mean, you'd be listening to the radio and it'd be like, hey, coming up next, it's on the top 100 of Casey Kasem Downtown is,
America's Top 40. Right. Right? That's it.
Yes.
With Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem, man.
Yes.
Did you know he was Robin in Batman and Robin, the cartoon?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, he was. I can't do the voice very good, but, it was just like, Jinkies, Batman.
Jinkies.
Here's a riddle from the Riddler.
Uh-oh.
In a song in 1950,
Nice.
you will find the hint that you need to solve the mystery.
Right.
So I don't know. Just it's kind of funny. I think somebody does a bit on that. Does Frank Calamento? So I can't pronounce his name. He's a comedian. Frank. He does a really good John Madden.
Nice.
But really, I mean,
I think in those apps, iTunes, not the iTunes, but the iHeart and Pandora, the free.
Yeah, but
majority.
your computer can record what's being played over the speakers back into the record automatically just through a little switch. Okay, so you play it on YouTube,
Right.
hit record, play it on YouTube, take it into Audacity, clip it, trim it up, whatever you want to do with it, save it.
Save it.
Guess what?
Upload it
You
to
got
it.
a fairly decent MP3 now. My good friend DJ B Leo, who I respect very highly, especially considering he has an amazing ear for detail, will tell you that there's a difference in the bit quality, the recording
for
quality.
the average user.
For the average user, nobody's going to care.
No.
So
I'm going to upload it to my MP3 player or my
Right.
iPhone or smartphone or whatever.
right, and I'm sure a couple of other people like P-Spot from Musical Viral Spiral will be like, oh, I can hear it too. I don't know, maybe you can or can't, but it's just one of those things where you think about how computers can do what they do,
Right.
shifting around or whatever. But like that feature where you play it and then hit record is the same thought process of a tape recorder. So it's not going to be the same quality as the original broadcast or the original song.
Never was, even on cassette.
Right.
Or CD.
So the question comes down to is how bad is that? I mean, is that technically illegal? I suppose it is, but
Did you get in trouble using your cassette tape to download
never,
record
because
it?
it was never widespread enough to really, it was only
theory, isn't it?
It was only tape heads and geek heads that had that kind of equipment,
Same theory.
No, same theory, but just now it's more easily or readily available. There's more tape heads and geek heads. I don't know what's the problem.
I mean, as long as you're using it for personal use, you're not sharing it with everybody.
Yeah, but they lost revenue on buying that song, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So the question comes down to: do they have the right to that revenue? I suppose they do, but I mean, that would then be saying, well,
Personal use, listen to it on the radio for free. Why do you?
I think that's the major disconnect in this whole thought process with copyright infringement and so on and so forth. If the radio stations are playing it, internet radio stations are playing it, they got to pay to use it.
The royalties, right?
Yeah, so they're getting a regular royalty check on the song. Now the question comes down to if me as a user hears it on the radio and then waits for it to come on again and I hit record, whether it's on a computer or not,
Right.
what does that mean? I got it illegally? You already paid your royalty to play it in that slot of time. It's kind of a weird disconnect, but I mean, from a legal standpoint, I'm sure the RIAA will want everybody to pay.
Yeah, they want their money.
Well, they were talking about changing their business model to a pay per listen thought process.
Wow.
So even users like us would have to, like saying if we downloaded a song that we liked,
Right.
every time we listened to it, we'd have to pay
A royalty.
2 cents. Yeah.
Crazy. Why
is
buy
crazy.
music when you can stream it? Today's fans have a different relationship with artists. One not based on buying music.
Mm-hmm.
That's an article I just found on CNET where we're sitting here talking about it. How ironic.
Yeah. It's really kind of a weird thought process, because the disconnect there would be the fact that the fans and the artist, I mean, they're fanatical about their artist, and they probably go buy the T-shirt or the CD maybe, but really they're the ones that are pumping up the YouTube hits, like people's songs that are probably not even a top 10 or top 100 list.
Right.
Are getting millions and millions of hits, which is generating a bunch of revenue for advertisers and YouTube, but it's not going back to the artists that created it.
I think with Pandora, though, I think there's a minimal fee if you want specific music.
I thought you
could listen to whatever they're shipping out, like a radio.
right, like a genre. Well, you can pick a genre.
Right, and then you have
Genre.
to pay. I do believe you have to pay for that. I think.
No, I think that the genre is fine, but it's if you
something
say
in there
if
that you
you
have to-
say that you want a very custom list, you have
Right.
to pay for the custom
Correct.
list. Yep. Then that way the royalties then go back to the artist. There.
Right.
But I'm thinking more YouTube. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like Macklemore's Thrift Shop, or what's the other one? The Ceiling Can't Hold Us, or Can't Hold Us. Okay. Very popular songs, dance songs. It really gets your blood going. Okay. It's great. I think it's reaching something like 11 million hits. Okay, the advertisers that advertise on those channels, okay, are a company that publishes those artists. Now the question is are the artists getting a good royalty feedback through that or not? You're starting to see a shift from the RIAA, to these media publishers, and I think it's a good thing in a sense if they're getting better royalties so that the artists continue to want to create.
Right.
Okay. Because, I mean, it's kind of tough to do something for free forever and then, why do it? I enjoy my music, but why anybody else does?
Yeah, there's
why?
a great, like I said, there's a great article on CNET that is discussing royalties and everything. You should reach out and, the independent label movement, and it's all discussed in there, and the Pandora and iHeart. And
Right.
it's a great article. You should go take a read.
Go check it out on
check it out.
cnet.com and look for
Why
what's the
buy
headline.
music when you can stream it?
There you go. Cool.
Anyway, great show.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Oh, I have that list of the top 10 or some of the best security suites, but
Oh,
I don't
would work.
care for a lot of these because some of them aren't. Some of them, it's so funny because like buyer beware, of course, with these things. A lot of times you'll see people that'll get like AdAware Pro. Okay, that's been around for a long time. It's $36 direct from the manufacturer, $48 for a 3 license thing. Offers the same powerful antivirus protection as the company's free antivirus, which is now an editor's choice on PC Mag. This minimalist suite adds improved anti-phishing and web-based antivirus as well as basic firewall. $36 gets you a decent product. You can get stuff for free though.
exactly.
So the question comes down to what are you really looking for?
What do you need?
Right. Avast. One of the things about Avast that worries me is that it is one of the biggest ones out there that has been duplicated or replicated, if you want to call it that, and made into a quote unquote security risk of hijackware. Right. So once it gets in there, it says, "Oh, Avast detected blah, 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 like 8,000 things wrong," and then you say fix. Oh, we can't fix your PC until you pay us $79.99.
Right, exactly.
And that's hijackware. That's hijackware. So it's really not Avast's problem, but if you know that you got the Avast product that's real, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, that's the one that pops up where you got 3,000 things wrong with your computer. You should.
Yeah. Give us money to fix it.
Right, exactly. We'll do it right over the internet for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Same way with AVG. AVG has been hijacked, if you want to call it that, at times, or have been replicated to become hijackware. So that worries me a little bit. But the actual suite is really not that bad. A lot of people like it. It's got 3 stars. It's a little heavier than Avast and AdAware, but it really does a decent job. Avira Internet Suite, it costs money. There is no free version. Another good one that's Avira has been rated top of the line on a lot of different ones. Bitdefender is another one of those ones that got replicated, and you get hijackware, and everybody hates them because that some other company. It comes down to buyer beware. Go get the actual version. Do your research. If you're not on Bitdefender's website and you're getting Bitdefender, you're probably getting hacked. I mean, you got to be in. Yeah. You got to get
beware.
some common sense. 1, common sense. 2 is really paying attention. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. I have known so many users that have gotten infected, and I don't know how I got it. I really don't.
Right. Okay.
Then you go back and you look through their history and the internet thing, and it's like, okay, it looked like they were trying to get an antivirus. But they were nowhere on that antivirus's website. They were off in La La Land in Russia. Well, guess what? You're getting hacked.
Right.
But Bitdefender, again, pretty decent product. Gives you firewall, spam filter, cloud-based parental controls as well. So if you get the real one. BullGuard, I don't care for that one. I'm going to pass it even though a lot of people love it.
Never heard of it.
A lot of people love BullGuard. It's kind of the... it has a lot of the different antivirus components that you really want for security, but at the same time, it keeps it fairly light. The problem with BullGuard, I think, comes down to is the fact that their signatures are based on only a single signature thought process. So this virus can only be this signature. So then when there's an unknown, it comes up as unknown, even though it's probably this virus over here. They don't correlate the ones, at least last time I reviewed it. But it got 3.5 stars, so it's still a pretty decent guy, and it's free, or it's low cost. Low cost. I, of course, I've used Komodo now for 2.5 years. I use the free version. So far, it's worked pretty well. The only bad side to the Komodo free version is they give you a pop-up ad every once in a while to buy the full internet suite. And if you download the free version, usually it starts off as the internet suite version. And Komodo is hypersensitive. That is the biggest downfall. It asks you everything for the first week you have it. It's like, do you really want to allow this? Do you really want to allow this? Really?
Click yes.
But then the whole point of that is to learn what your system should be allowed and not allowed to do. That way, then, if something comes up that shouldn't be allowed, you're like, oh, it's been a few weeks, you know. ESET. ESET's been very popular among corporations and POS systems. The NOD ESET Smart Security 6. GData Internet Security is another big one that's out there. Both of those got like 3 stars. Kaspersky gets 4 stars from a lot of people. A lot of people like Kaspersky's Internet Suite. Not really the big name that I like, but I've used it a few times. I really don't care for the interface. I don't like the having to click through and research and click through. And then, of course, at the bottom of the list is a few of the more popular ones like McAfee. McAfee Internet Suite 2013.
Use them.
$80 for 3 licenses.
Not bad.
They're not bad, but they're a little bloated.
Yep.
Norton is very bloated. I don't care who you are. Norton 360, it's very bloated. Slows your computer down like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, that's what I use, but I like it. It's all right.
You use Norton?
I do use Norton 360.
Oh, I thought you used McAfee, or you have used McAfee.
I have used McAfee,
Okay.
yep.
So, I mean,
I think I prefer Norton, though. I think a little bit better than McAfee.
Norton does a little bit better job than McAfee.
Right.
But again, some of these other antivirus suites I've learned over the years, I don't need the Norton product to be fairly secure because I don't do dangerous web surfing.
Right.
You know, so I mean, the little bit that I get out there and maybe get into something a little shady. Thank you.
Welcome.
Or being on Facebook, it usually catches anything like that. A few of the unknown ones is like, you know, a lot of people don't know about Panda Security or Securit. Another one that a lot of people haven't really heard of is Trend Micro stuff. And there's a whole bunch of them here. You got Viper Internet, you got WebRoot. Be careful of WebRoot. There's another one that was
Copied.
yeah, it was replicated and turned into a virus. Trustport. And then, of course, the last but not least, which I used to love this, but it really didn't get very high ratings on this list, was Zone Alarm by Checkpoint. I don't know if you've ever heard of Checkpoint Securities or Checkpoint Firewalls, but they used to be the top-notch firewall, rule-based firewall and packet sniffing firewall to look directly at the packets and stuff. It was a very good company to put your trust in for a while. Not so much anymore. I mean, some of the other companies have come and surpassed them.
Yeah.
But still, they're out there, you know. So
Right, good.
So there's some security suites, and the big thing is you should never have a computer that's not protected in some way, shape, or form. Even your iOS pads and your Android pads and your Microsoft Surfaces. I think you really should always protect them with some type of security suite, some type of antivirus to scan it. So,
Yes, it can't hurt. Can't hurt at all.
So before we close the show,
And change your password.
Yes, change your password regularly with big passwords.
Yes.
Complex passwords. Like Flipper is great and hot and funny.
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
One, well, you got to add a number.
Too long.
You know, my work password and now my email password is like 16 characters.
That's crazy.
It's not bad though if you do phrase based. You know.
JJ's great.
I actually like who told me about this? The Star Trek password thought process. It, you know, you could put your middle name, 2 Greek characters like alpha or pi
Right.
or omega. You know, you put two of the Latin or Greek character, whatever it is, and then a number, a 4-digit number, and that puts enough entrophic complexity to the password where it makes it like 10 years to hack that password.
Nice.
So it's pretty interesting.
And don't forget your like dot or period or exclamation point.
Yeah, all your special characters
With your capital and a number and
really, yeah, but that complexity is not as, in my mind anyway, from what I've read about complexity and traffic algorithms and
Right.
stuff like that. Really, the thought process is length. Because think about it, it's a computation. If you have a 1-digit password, how many possibilities is there?
right.
255 possible entries, right? Then if you go to 2 characters, it's 255 times 255, right? So that's how many, whatever.
Yeah, too many.
Right. What? Am I losing you?
No, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Now you put a 16-digit password together. How many possible
It's gonna
combinations?
take
is there?
forever.
Right. Anyway, just before we close the show, I want to play the Microsoft commercial again.
One more time.
All right.
Whoops. Or not.
Or not. I think I just have to hit play again. Hang on. There it is.
Right.
Sorry, I don't update like that. I'm sorry, I can only do one thing at a time.
I love the music.
I guess PowerPoint isn't one of those things.
Nope.
Should we just play chopsticks?
Yep.
And that's it. You've been watching and listening to Tech Talk Live with your hosts.
I'm Flipper.
And I'm JJ.
We're on every Saturday morning, 11 to 12. We're a computer talk show. We talk about your computer, my computer, everybody's computer. We're out of here.
See ya.
See ya.
You've been listening to your technology talk show. Tune in next time to Tech Talk Live.